Welcome to JED's Journal Podcast from the JED TV studios on the campus of Purdue Northwest in Hammond, Indiana. Now here's your host, Jim Dedelow.
Worst things have happened. Get a tent and sit under it. As long as it's not bad lightning, we'll all just sit there and actually have to talk to each other. I've been to some really good graduation outdoor barbecues when it rained, because you got to sit under the tent and talk to each other. Coming up is the Podkol reunion, and that is it's my family, and we have it out at Lemon Lake. And most of the time it's just hot and kids are running around, and they have a frisbee golf thing that goes right by the shelter, and it gets a little bit obnoxious as it's actually along the fairway, and we've had people that will just kind of come up and walk through our party and then, maybe grab a kapusta or something, or try to grab it, or just reach into a cooler and then keep going on with their discs on their back. And I don't mind, but there's a couple of my Polish relatives that are under the belief that if you're not invited and you didn't pay for it, get the hell out of here. And I believe those were the exact words to a number of these disc golfers. You get into disc golf and you get this feeling like it's almost like a Grateful Dead feeling, like, dude, we all get along together. We're just out here playing disc golf. And do you mind if I take one of your Pabst Lights? They just came out. Anyways, in terms of the no traffic, and there's a lot of heat, man, but you get a little break up for it on Thursday. Tomorrow, please don't. I'm meeting with some Hobart coaches, and I've got some other stuff. But in the morning, I'm going to try to play golf in this heat and just get my... It's supposed to be a high of 93. That's probably exactly what I'm going to shoot. So, anyways, I just have not been playing well, and I'll tell you why. It's always the clubs. I bought clubs like Bryson DeChambeau, and they're all one length. So my wedge is too long and my 5-iron is too short. But the whole idea is that you would really have to have only one swing. All of my clubs now, from 5 to a sand wedge, are all the length of a 7-iron. And it has been a very rough year trying to figure them out. And I'm finally coming around with some of that. And I'll see if maybe I can break the 90 threshold, which has kind of been my threshold for a while. Typically, I'm a mid-80s guy, maybe low 80s, maybe 87, 88. But, man, I've been up over 90 this year many times, and it's been... Can I say fugly? I think I can, but I probably shouldn't. Anyways, I want to hear from you, and then I got a bunch of stuff to talk about, and I hope that you're having a good summer. How about you? Are you having a good summer?
Sure. Every day is a vacation day for retirees.
Do you lose track of what day of the week it is sometimes?
No, I have a full schedule of stuff.
Okay.
And, Trucker Mike, he called in yesterday. He's on meds. He started the doctoring. Anything new on his state of affairs?
I got to apologize because he's in, I don't know if he's still in the hospital or if he has come home yet. Did he say?
I gather he's out. He said yesterday he called from his workplace.
He was working already. Jesus.
Well,
but anyways, two things. First of all, I'm waiting on a part for the TuneIn app. We broke it down, and then we realized that to restart it up, it's going to take a couple weeks. So if you listen on the TuneIn app, please just switch over and watch on JED TV, and you could just put the volume up on JED TV. It's a little more data for your phone, but not much. And I'll have it up, but it is going to be a couple weeks, and the TuneIn app, now's a good time to do that because we don't have any sports, and we needed to retool that and many other things. You'll notice that the station went off for a couple hours on Friday night when I called the engineer in, and he and I went over there. He said he was going to be here at like 10 or 11, and he called me at like 7:30 and said, I'll be there in a minute. So I spent all of Friday night here redoing that, and I apologize, Mike. Mike, you're not the only one that's complained about the tune-in app down. But anyways, from what I understand, Mike is doing much better and is supposed to be resting, but my guess is that he will not rest. And you guys, people were on me, Walt, for ripping on the guy. God, he almost died, and this was a horrific experience. And there you are yelling at the guy, Jed. I was yelling at him because I care about him, and I know him, and he pushes it to the limit. He just had a real big incident. He needs to relax for a little while. Mike, if you're listening, that's you, my friend. But he's doing better, Walt. What a weird situation,
Mm-hmm. Got the news. I'm curious as to how it ended up with Fox.
Yeah, they were. They used that story in, all around Fox, the Fox network. I don't know why other networks didn't pick it up. Part of it is if Fox picks it up, and then kind of all the other stations on the other side, maybe they don't want to pick it up, or if CNN picks it up, Fox will kind of look the other way. But anyways, it was mostly Fox, and they did use it in other markets. And Dave Gearman and Perry Stabler, as they called them, are minor celebrities for about 15 minutes. You know what I mean?
Well, why not?
Also, Paul Goddard and, of course, Tom Dabberton. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, Wednesday, Trucker Mike was having an incident at work, and he was able to call Dabberton live on the air. I was actually sitting out here, and Dabberton, kind of managed it. Dave Gearman and MX ran over to the yard there in Gary, and Paul Goddard was in contact with the EMS, and they may have saved his, certainly saved further damage, may have saved his life. And it all played out on the air, and it became a news story on Fox, and the Times did a nice news story about it. But really,
Saturday, the Times had a 10-paragraph column on Saturday, page A3. Headline: WJOB listeners rush to save caller.
That's crazy, man. I didn't ever read that. I saw the article. I didn't get to read it. Yeah, here it is. There's a picture of Dabberton at Pierogi Fest, which is next week. This week is Festival of the Lakes. You going to go, Walt?
Maybe.
Really?
I used to go to it pretty regularly, but in my decrepitude, I'm very selective as to what I go and see, participate in. It's got to be low key. That is not a low key. It's a very lively kind of a place. You want to get the blood rolling and having fun and so forth. That's the place.
First of all, McDermott's going to be here with me on Thursday at 7 o'clock. We're going to talk about Festival of Lakes and what it means and what the schedule is and promo it and all that stuff. So we'll cover a lot of that on Thursday. I know Fogarty's playing tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to go or not, but they have a really good lineup, and it's a really beautiful place, Walt. One of the things, I don't know if you heard this last Thursday, we promoted the Griffith Blues Fest over here, Blues and Barbecue. And Greg Mance, the former police chief, came in. And he's kind of running it with a couple other people, and it's a big deal there. But he's not the police chief anymore. He has gone on to do his own security business. And, we started talking about what he was doing now and how he was providing security to families and, how he was basically matching up former cops, and they're doing security all over the place. But I asked them, what is it? How do you keep a festival safe? And then he laid it all out, and then I went there on Friday night and looked at it. But you notice, Walt, that most of these places are putting up big fences, and they're having only one or two egresses. You can't just walk in from anywhere and walk out,
right,
even if it's a free festival.
Yep.
he talked about having basically undercover policemen try to blend into the crowd in certain instances. Right. Certainly, at this one, I had my grandkids, so the cop at one of the exits stopped traffic so that we could get them all into the car, and might have slowed down traffic for a second. But they're cutting. Broad Street is very busy. You need some cops out there, and there were cops out there keeping the traffic going. So they had dual purposes of keeping the traffic going, and also letting anybody who wants to cause any issues know that there is I think the guy was an EC cop off duty, and there was another one that was a Crown Point cop off duty. I mean, they all come together and they're all working, but the science behind trying to make these things safe has gotten a lot better, especially the communications amongst officers, the locations, where they know are the bad points in and out. And some of them are even charging some money just to get in to kind of keep out people that are just there to make trouble. So I think they're getting better at it. Does that make sense? I mean, it doesn't mean that some kid's not going to get crazy and start doing some stuff,
Well, when you have problems at places like the Catholic Church in Munster, for example, they went through a period of troubles and so forth, and nothing is sacred with a certain element of American society. By the way, the lake is not Lake Michigan, for those who don't know what they're talking about. When they say lake, it's Wolf Lake. And for me, that's a real nostalgia thing, because I and my friends in East Chicago back in the 40s, we used to bicycle to Wolf Lake and fish for little fishies kind of thing. But it is now they've really upgraded it, and it's really a destination kind of place. They've done a great job there.
Hey, Walt, I don't want to get into it, but I might have a little more time on Thursday. I got some other calls here, but I know you and I have argued for 20-some years. Not argued, but we've contemplated what our role is in the balance between industry and environment here in Northwest Indiana. And the front page of the Time, Nippon Steel takeover of U.S. Steel is expected to result in a $14 billion investment, including about $1 billion in the Gary Works steel mill along the lake there.
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Yep. However, environmental groups are concerned that Nippon will invest in legacy steel making that will increase air pollution and the carbon emissions that have been linked to climate change. They've got a number of people here listed, including the Sierra Club. They worry about Nippon perpetuating U.S. Steel's environmental track record, noting the steelmaker paid nearly $64 million in air pollution fines in western Pennsylvania over the last 5 years. What do you make of that?
Well, take, for example, the issue over the having to take your car to every other year to check pollution. And actually the problem is Chicago. That's where the problem is. And these eco crowds like the Sierra Club, and they're very snobbish crowd, they have argued, whenever this has been come up in the past, they've always argued to insist that Northwest Indiana be included with Chicago on all this pollution testing kind of thing, whereas the problem is in Chicago, not here.
Wow. I don't even know what to make of that, but I do have to tell you, one time as a kid, I was watching the television news, which I'll still do, believe it or not, and they were talking about like the beaches being closed in Chicago, and it was a problem, and they interviewed Billy Williams. Remember him? He'd spit a hocker as he walked up, the sweet swinging Billy Williams, left-handed, and then he'd hit the hocker when he was, anyways. He was a left-handed left fielder for the Cubs, and he batted third for years. And he gets on there and he goes, we aren't the problem here in Chicago. It's all those people in Indiana and all their pollution coming up here. That's what's closing our beaches.
Wrong. I was watching national television, and this young woman, a very effective speaker for the socialist point of view, and she was asked about the crime situation in Chicago, and instantly the standard response for that crowd is, Indiana's fault. Never mind the stats show that in terms of guns being used in Chicago from Indiana, it's like 10%. So there's 90% something else.
Well, I mean, that is a different issue. I mean, very similarly, I interviewed Tom Dart, the sheriff of Cook County at one point, and there was an interview about something else, and he, they said, well, they're doing this here, and, crime, it goes across the state lines, obviously. What is your relationship to Northwest Indiana? He goes, well, I have a good relationship with the law enforcement in Indiana, but too bad most of our guns come from Indiana and they bring them over here and commit crimes. So, I mean, this was 10 years ago. I mean, you got Billy Williams in the in the 70s and Tom Dart in the teens, and here we are now. I mean, the tossing of grenades back and forth across the state line continues. But one thing that does continue, Walt, is that our houses that used to be very affordable, and you know that because I know where you live, in and around us, is an amazing uptick in the housing prices because all the people come from Illinois. I mean, literally down my street, I'm like, I can't believe that guy paid that for that. And then 2 years later, it's like, oh, what a great deal that guy got. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it doesn't really stop. I mean, I know that housing prices have stagnated across the country. Not here, man. You're not here. All right, I'll talk to you, Walt. You and I can talk forever. I wish those
Illinois people would leave their politics on the Illinois side. Unfortunately, in many cases, they bring them here. They have no sense that their voting pattern has created a situation, high crime, out of control, taxes, and corrupt government and so forth. They have no sense that the way they voted is why Chicago has those kind of problems.
Walt, it's never too late to have your own podcast. Walt Untethered. All right, man, I'll talk to you. Hey, you're on the air. How are you?
Hey, good morning there, Jim. How you been there, buddy?
I'm doing all right, man. You can tell it's summertime. Let's just blab for a little while and then go sweat our you-know-what's off,
I get it, brother. I totally get it. Hey, man, on your next longest break, whenever that may be, can you play some of that Dire Straits, Once Upon a Time in the West? I don't expect to hear the whole song by no means, but if you could squeeze that in somewhere, that'd be awesome.
All right, is there any special meaning to that song right now? Am I missing something?
No, it's just politics in general, man. I ain't even gonna go down that rabbit hole there, Jim. I ain't voting ever again, buddy. Let's just leave it at that.
You are not alone, Bill.
I just called to see how you been, brother. I ain't talked to you in a while. Sometimes I gotta take a break, I did talk to Mike and checked on him when I heard about it. I still listen. I just don't call as much because I can't contribute anything that's worthy, It's just garbage in the world right now, brother.
I got to tell you, people ask me, like, I've gone to a bunch of barbecues and parties, and it's been just a parade of things. And a number of times people will bring up something, and I'll realize that I have kind of checked out a little bit through June and July, and now I'm kind of coming back to it because we're getting closer to the school year and all that stuff. But
yes, sir.
I think that most people are like you, and that they might pay attention sometimes, but a lot of people have to unplug, and I think that's it's a natural thing, man.
Yeah, I've kind of been enjoying it, man. All I do is live my life, go to work. Hell, I'm going down to Florida for 9 days, starting Thursday, going down there doing some fishing. So I'm just looking for a long time need a vacation, and Just called to see how you been, brother.
Doing all right. I'll tell you what.
I want to make sure this is clear. I love everybody that calls, man. I don't care their politics. I enjoy talking to everybody, man, and sometimes you just got to take a break, brother. And I wish everybody nothing but a remaining awesome summer. I ain't going away or nothing, but that's where I'm at with this, buddy.
You know, you are correct about one thing, and I think the Dabberton Trucker Mike thing kind of proved it in that. Can you see Dave from Gary and MX rushing to save the same guy? I mean, these guys basically call each other's policies just, to just denigrate each other, and they're denigrate each other's policy, but somebody's in need and they both came running. I think that speaks volumes.
I think so too, Jim. And that just tells me as a person that regardless how they might under their breath mother F everybody or each other over their policies or their way of the rule of the world right now, the way things are going, they can still come together as a community, pull together, and still, help somebody in need. And I seen Tom Dabberton's post, why can't Republican, Democrat, and Independents all come together, put money together in a big hat, and give it out to the people that are needy, that's had these floods and stuff and whatnot. Then I put on there, I go, well, that would be a great idea, but who's going to accept the money, who's giving it away, and what are they going to charge? You know what I mean? There's always some kind of corruption, man. You can't get away from it, buddy.
You know what? It does wear on you, and the show that some of it's interesting. You gotta agree that Trump has made things so interesting over the last 10 years, really. And I think, the Democrats with, their issues, it's kind of getting old. You know what I mean? It's almost like I want a new show. Does that make sense?
Yeah. 100%. That's why I said I haven't called, man. I still listen, still love everybody, no matter their politics, man. But I just had to take a long break from the calling, man.
All right, man. It is good to hear your voice. I'm a little worried about you going fishing in Florida in the summertime, and the only reason is a good portion of my family moved around Orlando, and I used to go down to my grandpa's, and my grandpa, when I'd go down, he'd make me work in his yard because that's what grandpas do. And there was always these alligators. He lived on a stream, and in the winter he would be like, don't worry about it. But in the summer, he's like, dude, you got to watch alligators in the summer. That's when they get snippy. He goes, I don't know why, but they that's when you have your trouble. So remember that. Stay away from those things.
You know the one thing I always do when I go to the airport, Jim? I'll sit down and have myself a Jack and Coke. And the wife, she probably regrets asking me this the other day, and I won't keep you long. She goes, can I ask you a question? I go, absolutely, honey, what? She goes, why do you got to have a Jack and Coke before you get on every plane? I said, well, hell, honey, if the plane goes down, I at least want a little bit of alcohol in my system. I said, I ain't going to be one on the plane screaming and crying. I would be like, well, hell, here we go, world. She goes, why would you say such a thing? I said, it's true. You never know, man. You just never know. It is what it is. I can't control it if it goes down, honey.
I'm with you. I don't fly straight up sober. I mean, I can't. I mean, I used to do that, but I don't really do that anymore. I went to the doctor, and I don't take these pills that are for anxiety or whatever on a regular basis. But when I'm flying and there's delays and the kid's crying and it's hot in there, I mean, it could build. You know what I mean? And so sometimes you got to get a little help.
Yeah. I just like my Jack and Coke. I put on them Beats headphones, listen to some old classic rock, and I'll be good, brother. But, hey, man, I just want to go ahead and cut you loose. And if you get that Dire Straits on, brother, I appreciate it.
All right, you got it. Thanks a lot. Talk to you.
All right, bye.
All right, well, Obviously, I'm not going to get to heavy topics today. We're just going to blab, unless you got one on your mind. Hey, you're on the air. How are you?
Yeah, good morning. It's time to move on.
From what?
Okay, everything's all done with me. Everything's getting taken care of. But, let me say something. A long time ago, that one lady rode her bike somewhere, and she come out, somebody stole it. And then another lady had her cat go flying out the door, came back, and the station helps everybody out, It's not just me, it's everybody. This station has done so much for people, So kind of, can you all chill out about me? I'm sitting in the chair out here. I'm all set up. I got 2 trucks to kind of finish getting ready this morning. But the thing is I got some of the paperwork done yesterday and went to some of the doctors to get situated started. But I gave authorization to my Mr. Dr. MX. He's got my medical papers. He can pronounce them names. Doctors, can't they, when you get a cold, can't they say you have a cold? They'll say something like, you got the blah, 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 Can't they say it in plain English? You're sick. Can't the doctor's got to put a big word to make you sound like you're in misery, But you know what?
I got to stop you. All right, go ahead. Finish what you were going to say.
The hospitals. I tell you, if I ever win the Powerball ticket, I'm going to make sure every floor, every place in that hospital has a coffee machine to make coffee. I had the hardest time getting coffee.
That's a problem. I got to tell you that if I was in the hospital and I woke up and I didn't get my coffee before, say, 10 o'clock 9 o'clock in the morning, or right when I woke up, I would be miffed too. I get that. Okay?
Because when I was in the hospital, they don't bring your breakfast till 8:30, and I'm sitting there up there. What was it? Yeah, Friday. I'm sitting up awake at 5 in the morning. And I want a cup of coffee, and I asked the nurse. She comes in and I says, "Can I get a cup of coffee?" "Oh, we have no coffee." And I go to her nicely before I was being nice and calm. I says, "You mean this whole hospital does not have any coffee in there?" But I gave my new doctor now, Dr. MX. I gave him all my medical papers. I give him authorization. He can mention all them words about me and everything, But the thing is, like you told me, slow down, chill out, which I am, because I got my chair sitting out here now, and I'm drinking my water. And in a little bit after I get done, I got 2 trucks I got to kind of touch up on, and then as soon as my son today, I'll work a full day because I got to take a student.
Oh, wait a second. All right, we got to slow you down right now. I took a lot of criticism for the fact that MX, Gearman, Goddard, hold on. They all came together, Daverton, and they got national coverage for helping you out in a time of need. And then I had a bunch of people, people coming up to me and saying, this is a great moment, Jed. Why are you berating Trucker Mike?
You weren't. No, you weren't, Jim. You know what? Somebody needs to tell somebody. When you see somebody that needs to slow down or chill out, it does not hurt to tell that person, because you know what? They don't realize they have to do it. You need to be spoken. But I want to say something, because I was sitting in the hospital. I was watching the news. This weekend or something was Marine Week celebration or something, 200 and something years. One thing, Marine Pete, his father, his whole family that raised Marine Pete, we need to give 100 or a ton of thanks for him, for what he has done for us. And his family raising Marine Pete like he is,
I agree. I think that we haven't heard the last of Marine Pete. He's a Gavitt grad. I think he's year 18 into a 20-year stint with the Marines, and I always tell him that he's pretty prime material to run for office, especially around here. And I agree.
Yeah.
Mike, I'm not going to sit here and lecture you about taking it easy, because you're not going to listen anyways. But I do want to just point out to everybody that Mike's Ground to Air Videos is on Facebook, and he's got pictures of the recent car show, and he's got a picture on there of MX standing next to him. I know Ron Matlock came and saw you too, and Goddard's been around, and all these guys kind of came together. But I just wish that you would hear 10% of what I'm saying, okay? Because right now we are in one of the hottest stretches of weather that many of us could remember. And hopefully you're staying hydrated, you're keeping cool, and whatever you have going, which I don't want to know, isn't going to come up and happen again. And that is what all of the listeners are listening for, because every listener and viewer of WJOB has a relative who is kind of a hardhead and doesn't want to be told what to do as they get older and don't want to make the adjustments.
Yeah, but you know what? The nice thing is, you know, the Dedelow family rescued this station and kept it going, and then now try to keep it going another 100 years, and then your kids, grandkids take over, and it'd be another 200 years that this station should never, ever, everybody out there should tell all their family, friends, everybody to be focused on the station, because this station has done so much wonderful things, has progressed, and the station is just it's a family that, I mean, you guys rescued this station, and thank God you guys did, because you know why? It shows that this station cares about this region and everybody out there.
All right, Mike, thank you. I'm glad everybody wanted to hear your voice, that you're feeling better, and but please heed the warnings, okay, my friend?
Yeah, I'll sit down and shut up.
All right, man. I'll talk to you, Mike. Thank you. If you guys don't mind, it's going to take a second here. Mike's Ground to Air Videos here's what AI says. Mike's Ground to Air Videos is a photography and videography service that offers a range of services, including aerial photography. According to Facebook posts, Mike's Ground to Air Videos has provided services for events such as parades and birthday celebrations. It's mostly just drone footage and photos that Mike takes with his camera. It's a little bit different this year in that it is so hot everywhere, and that heat is building up on a lot of different people. And I will tell you that today is an ozone action day, as you heard on the news there on 219 News Now. And you got to watch the weather. You got to watch getting outside. I was going to clean out some gutters this afternoon, but I think I'm going to wait until the evening and do that. So should you. Be right back on the voice and face of the Calumet region.
You've been listening to Jed's Journal podcast from the Jed TV studios on the campus of Purdue Northwest in Hammond, Indiana. Thank you for listening.